So folks, how you doing? You're welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Walls podcast with Pete and
Ferg.
He loves that bit coming in at the end. And today, we told you we're going to talk about all the different subjects when it came to retrofit. We've had experts in from all different fields. Today, we have what everybody who's listening to this podcast wants. We have got a good-looking, honest face here, and he's a homeowner who is going through the retrofit process as we speak. We have the one, the only, Mr. Eric Donovan, former European boxing champion. He is a psychotherapist, am I right in saying that, Eric? Yes, and counsellor. A father, a husband, and a homeowner. Eric Donovan, how are you?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for those lovely words. Every one of them are factual and to the point and hit the nail on the head there. Especially with the good looking part, yeah.
Well, you're good looking for a boxer, let's be honest, you know.
Well, that's the biggest compliment you can get, because someone said to me, "You don't look like a boxer," and I said, "That's a great compliment."
A good dodger. Obviously we're here to talk about retrofit, and you are very close to finishing a retrofit. You're literally in the final week of it.
Yeah, and I know that's outrageous to even think of that, especially the way the current climate is in Ireland, the housing crisis and everything. So for me to be 40 years of age and actually just a couple of days away from moving into our first forever home, hopefully, and just to see everything that has been done, thanks to Envirobeat and all the other contractors and builders that we had, we're moving into a beautiful home and we can't wait.
Yeah, it's amazing because, you know, you briefly touched on it there. We were having a quick chat beforehand, and you're basically saying that, you know, your wife Laura, I've met Laura. Thanks be to God, Eric met Laura, because she is the steady hand and he needs a steady hand. But you were saying that you were really dying to jump in and buy, just get a house and move in. Yeah. And Laura said, no, let's wait. And then you bought a house that needed a complete retrofit.
Yeah, like where we are now, and we're very lucky as well. We live in the back of Laura's parents' house, and we're renting there, but it's small enough, you know. It's like a 2-bed apartment, and you know, over time, you know, I have 2 boys from a previous relationship, and then me and Laura have 2 little girls, and you know, when the 6 of us are in there, like it was very confined and it was tight. We always always had our eye on the market, and you're looking for something. And I remember saying to Laura, like two Christmases ago, I said, I'm not spending another Christmas here, you know, and of course I did. And then the next one I was like, that's it, that's the last one, not spending another one. And of course I did, because Laura kept dragging her heels, you know. But all I wanted to do was just get out and get into a bit of space and buy a house. And I suppose that's something probably in my nature as well, a little bit impulsive, like, you know. Yeah. But I'm glad that Laura dragged her heels, and she was, as you said, steady hand, very, very very strong-minded and very consistent. And lucky enough then, you know, a house came up not far from where we are, about 2 kilometres away from where we are in the countryside. Lovely place, Lynch's Cross, Mellifont, Tullyallen, and you know, we went to see it, and lo and behold, within a week of visiting the house, you know, they got back in touch with us, and just with that all important kind of information. Look, if you're happy to pay this, we're happy to sell, and we're like, absolutely. And it was just brilliant. And then that's the start, you know what I mean? Like, wow, we're homeowners, like, but we knew it was an old house, and we knew that there's a lot of work had to go in. So then we were like, right, where do we go from here? Because me and Laura's very sporty as well, and she's involved, like, she's a teacher and she's involved in sport most of her life, sports science background. And then me as well, becoming, even though I come from a family of my dad, my brothers, they're all in construction, they're all working in that area. I've would have been like an idiot abroad on a building site, like, you know what I mean? So I had no clue, but touch base with the likes of Ferg there and Envirobeat, and they just started saying all the right things. And then the best thing about that is you can just hand it over, and they project manage your house, and before you know it, this old house that has 4 chimneys is starting to kind of like transform and move into a very modern, beautiful home that is just has all of the perks now that we're going to talk about today.
So something very important after popping up. You actually do a little bit of work.
I actually was listening there and said Fergal does say things right sometimes. But before we go on, I have to acknowledge you could cut the bromance in this room with a blunt butter knife.
Come on, hasn't even started.
Love is in the air here. It's unbelievable. the two lads reunited again after their week in hell.
Yeah, myself and Eric, I'm sure some people know, but if not, myself and Eric met when we were both competitors on Hell Week, Ultimate Hell Week. Special Forces, yeah. It was some crack, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
It was really tough. And we
bonded, obviously.
Yeah, we did. We met, actually, we met on the beach, semi-naked training one day, didn't we? And,
there you go.
Pretty much our lives have continued very similar to that,
yeah.
No, but so Eric reached out to yourselves, and what was the BER rating of the house, actually? Can you remember? Like, it was very low, I presume.
It was an E, I think, or a D, or something along those lines.
I think it was an E.
It was definitely an E.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
And it was a vacant home as well, is that correct? So did you get the Vacant Homes Grant?
Yeah, so that's the other thing, but we didn't realise it at the time. There was such a, again, it goes to show you, like, sometimes I think you have to thank God for unanswered prayers. That's the Garth Brooks song. Like, I wanted to get into this new house, this new old house, but because there was retention issues with the house, we had to wait. There was a bit of a delay, and I was going bananas. Like, I was like, gee, I'm ready. So I ended up having to spend another Christmas where I was even though that was never part of the plans. But what happened was, which is completely out of my control and our control, was the retention issues that were going on with the house, and then around the site marking and sight lines and all that kind of stuff, worked out in our favour, because we then passed the threshold for the Vacant Homes Grant.
Brilliant.
And that was a game changer for us as well.
Yeah.
So combining both the SEAI works and the grants, and then the Vacant Homes Grant, it just really made things a hell of a lot
more
better for us.
affordable. Yeah. And it allowed you probably...
You could do a really good job instead of going bit by bit over time. You could actually go in and go aggressively at it and get, we got, new floors, new roofs and everything. Yeah. So I was able to, we were able to do a lot of good work, and we're still thrilled about it. Like,
oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. And from yourselves' point of view, then Ferg, you got connected. Like, did Eric reach out to you, or what way did that work? I'm obviously oblivious to the process.
I think it originally came from our
mutual
good
friend,
buddy of Eric,
our mutual friend in Cork,
Dermot the Rock O'Sullivan.
Correct.
So
yeah. I forgot to shoot yourself. And
Dermot put us in touch, and then we got talking about the home energy upgrade side of things. And it's great to have you, Eric, because a lot of homeowners wouldn't know about the vacant property grant. And the other thing is, probably one of your mythbusters here, is that you can combine both grants. But the thing that's important, and I would have spoke to Eric about this early on in the journey, is to make sure that you're not overlapping to get the maximum benefit out of both grants, we'll say. So
that's right.
Don't put any of the energy works in under the vacant property grant, and vice versa.
Oh, very good, yeah.
If you use them and maximize both out, it's a
really
nice help. Eric.
No, absolutely, and that was really good advice as well, because, like, initially you're thinking, right,
good advice as well.
No, but
the bromance is going somewhere.
As I said to you, like, we just don't. People, if you don't know, you don't know, and it's very, very important to be able to consult with people that is going to give you a straight up, good guidance. And you did give us good guidance, because I would have made that mistake of using the Vacant Homes Grant for maybe some energy upgrades, and then not actually being able to maximize that and utilize that in the same way that we did. So that kind of steered us right, and we got we were able to give it a full whack and get, really, honestly, we cannot believe how fortunate we were and how lucky we are in it all, with how everything has unfolded for us.
So you buy the home, you realise then that you're eligible for grants. You apply for the grants, you get them approved, and then the work starts. Is that the process of it for you?
That's it. You kind of reach out to a couple of contractors, and you try and get quotes off them, and before you know it, like, we had a few people lined up, and we initially we thought that was going to be a big challenge, because it's very hard for people to get contractors now. It's very hard for people to get any sort of tradesmen, because they're all tied up in different jobs, and you get them, but you have to wait for them. You know what I mean? So but we were very, very lucky that we got a good builder, and he was able to get in fairly quickly. It was just timing. It was just timing for us, you know what I mean? Yeah. So some things work out. That's what I was saying about the things working in my favour. If I had to get my way initially, I wouldn't, and got into the house, I wouldn't have availed of have been able to avail of the vacant homes. But because I didn't get my way, so the the universe kind of was rewarding us, and it just worked out for us, and happy days.
Great stuff. And you have PK, your friend, as well.
PK's doing a lot of good work in the house as well.
Yeah.
He's finishing up now today. He's putting the handles on the doors and stuff. And
Exciting.
yeah, it's good. The painters have been in, and they've just small little bit work more. But we're due to move in at the end of this week. You know what I mean? Little bit of work to be done around the outside and all that. But no, it's great. Even the external wall insulation, like that's something like we were kind of like, what do we do? Do we go internal wall insulation or do we go external? And that's a big question for people, like, you know. Well, the internal, some people were saying the internal is more, it's more effective because that's where the heat starts and it hits the internal wall first, and then, you know, when you're upgrading your house and you have a new floor, you know, your roof is all done, and then you have your external wall insulation, your air to water heat pump, which is unbelievable. It's just something like, it's unbelievable. I genuinely mean that, because no matter what time you walk into the house during the day, doors, windows and everything can be open, and we're in the winter now, you know, so, and it can still be very cozy, you know, that custy feeling in there, like it's really nice.
Well, do you mind and let's break it down. So you've done the one-stop shop, am I right in saying that?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got external wall insulation. What else?
You started with a home energy assessment, as that's what we're saying all the time, that's your starting point. And from that, the recommendations came back. Now, obviously, with walls, you have a choice of internal or external. I'd be a fan of external. I think it's a better insulation, but aesthetically, it also gives you a kind of a brand new looking house.
Outside,
So there's kind of bonuses with that. So we would have went with a suite of measures that were recommended. And as long as we were achieving the one-stop shop criteria, Eric was free to choose whatever he wanted from those measures. But you signed up for the whole deal.
Yeah, but like, you know, and I'm glad we did go this way, because the external wall installation as well, it allows us, first of all, number one is it does give your home a facelift and a whole and you're looking at a beautiful modern home from the outside. Like, it's really, really nice and eye-catching. And you can pick whatever colour you want. You can pick your windowsills, and it's really nice. And then also the rooms are larger, because you're not losing.
Sizes,
If you go for the internal, you know, you're going to lose some space. So we've got like plenty of room on the inside as well. And as I said to you about the air to water heat pump, that's an unbelievable device, like, you know what I mean. And I think every home should have one. I genuinely do, because it just keeps your house temperature and room temperature just level all the time.
Yeah, I was kind of saying that to you. Like, that's the big difference that I would notice with it is the evenness of the temperature within a home. But I do think it's very important to talk about the external wall insulation wrap as opposed to the internal dry lining, because if you internally dry line a home, you still kind of have an awful lot of cold bridging coming in, because obviously you can only dry line up to a wall, so unless you return that on the inside, then again you can get the cold coming in from the outside. Whereas if you wrap the whole outside of the home like you do with an external wall insulation wrap, you're getting a full envelope basically. You know, obviously you get your roof insulation done as well, you know, new windows and doors, so straight away you've wrapped the home.
That's
right. And then you're getting you got the home, you know, to the right BER rating and the right energy efficiency to then maximise your air to water heat pump. So your air to water heat pump gives you your 24-hour hot water. So any time of the day you can jump in and out of the shower now. There's no such thing as turning the immersion on or anything like that.
No, it's right. That's it. Like, imagine how many arguments in houses are over the hot water. Like, you know, seriously though, like, you know, and you never have to worry about that. There's always going to be hot water there.
Well, you have two young daughters. Wait till they grow up there. Yeah.
You know, so it's a great thing, and it's just going to make a lot of things easier and more convenient, you know. And it's the way.
And like, you're calling it cozy, but it's that evenness of temperature, isn't it? Like, you know, so you've got your thermostats in each room. Yeah. So like, let's say if you prefer the bedroom to be a bit cooler, you can turn the thermostat down in the room. Yeah. Whereas your general heat within the home can be at another temperature as well.
Yeah, you're in control of it, like, you know, and that's a good thing.
Very user friendly as well, which is a very important thing as well, because.
Don't touch them.
100%. The advice that I give everybody when I'm handing over the keys at the end of a job is, now you see your heating system, don't touch it.
I remember saying to the guy that come out to commission it, like, I said, but sure, listen, what do I do if we're heading off on holidays for a week or whatever? Like, do I plug it out? No. He goes, sure, if you're going off on holidays, just turn it down. And he goes, sure, if nobody's using anything, no water, no tap, like, it's just it's so self-efficient, like, you know what I mean? And and sustainable in that way that like it's not using any big energy. If nobody's there, it's fine, it's grand, just leave it. And that's a good thing as well. You just leave it, let it be. You know, it works independently. Brilliant.
And we've come across this an awful lot where we've all grown up with an oil or gas boiler, which is an on-off system.
Yeah.
And it does take a lot to get your head around something that's just, like we use the word available. It's another thing that people think is that it's on all the time.
Yeah.
It's available all the time, which is a big difference.
Big difference, yeah.
And as you said, it prioritises hot water. So it is great that way. That there's none of this immersion or who left the immersion on. So it's great that way. Yeah.
And you'd wonder even like about turning on and turning off, like would the amount of energy that goes into starting up something, shutting it down, starting back up something as well.
The old argument about the immersion, that are you as well have to leave it on, or
that's right,
does it cost as much to heat up the cylinder again?
And then the other, of course, Fergal, and then the other part that we weren't even aware of at the outset was that, like, we're going to, there's solar panels a part of this one-stop shop project as well, or this scheme as well. So, and now that we have them as well, that will even take the pinch off. Yeah, of the costs and that as well, and like so again, just another protection, another advance, another advancement in your whole house system.
So you bought a house that was obviously completely inefficient in terms of its thermal value. You've invested in getting it to the right standards, and then you've put in your heating system, which is going to be run very efficiently now, and then you've also got your solar panel. So it all sort of synchronizes, you know what I mean, with your home. And look, again, I know you've got a young family as well, and you're going to be able to relax and enjoy the home now.
Yeah.
So I think it's an excellent investment for someone in your position. And I know, again, you were saying that you have like 3/4 of an acre, you have a detached house, you've got your own kind of space, and you've, rather than doing it bit by bit, you've now got a home that is fully ready for you to just live in. Like,
No, that's right. And I honestly got it. That probably is the most. I think the best part of it all is that you were able to just call in somebody like who could oversee everything and line it up, because you have a lot of people have a lot of work to do with roles and responsibilities. You mentioned at the start being a father, a husband, and the line of work that I'm in, availability is pretty scarce, so when you can, and it's such a big project, and it's an important one too, because it's your home, what I mean. But when you have guys that are dealing with this week in, week out, and you're able to just say to them, okay, I leave it in your hands, and we're lucky enough that we're able to leave it in Fergal's and Envirobead's hands, and they've come up trumps now, in fairness, and we're very happy.
So in terms, I know you've been through a fair few challenges in your life, in boxing, addiction.
No, I still don't. I'm not taking a job with you, Pete. No,
you've got a challenge ahead. So how stressful was the process? Be totally honest out.
I tell you, it's very stressful in the sense of that, like, you want to get in there in a certain time. Like, you want to get in there. It's like the organization of things wasn't really stressful, but like what's stressful is actually moving stuff and getting ready and preparing, and when to move this, when to move that, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, it's part and parcel, I suppose. It goes with, people will always say this, like, if you're moving house is one of the most stressful things. And that's just something you cannot escape or you cannot avoid. But what is really a lovely thought is that that where you're going is you're going into your forever home, and it's going to be somewhere that you're going to have your best days, best family memories and moments ahead of you, like, and you're going to have all of your space, and I suppose, all of the perks that comes with it, and hopefully it's, I do think, well, hopefully now this will be really settled in the house by this Christmas. It's going to be a lovely time. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so like, we're speaking to a man here who was in the last week of the project. You're very calm for a man now in the last week of a project. and how you took the time to come to our podcast and just leave your poor wife at home. What's going on there? So Laura's at home getting the house out. Is that the way it is it?
No, I have to say, no, I've been very, very fortunate that we had very good company, working with a good company in Envirobead, and they've helped us out immensely with everything. And when Fergal asked me to come on to the podcast, I said absolutely no, because that's how things work. You know what I mean? People look after you, you look after them, and I want to try and also get the message out to people to consider, just to open their mind to consider about retrofitting their house, upgrading it, because even if it is a little bit of a cost in the short term, in the long term, it's going to pay you back tenfold.
Yeah. I'd always call it the win-win-win situation.
Yeah.
First of all, you're getting the grant. Second of all, you're doing your bit for the environment.
Yeah.
And then third of all, it's such a massive investment into your home that you can have for the long term. So there's no loser in the situation, And again, the fact that there's government money available, you never know how long those things are going to last for. Sometimes, the carrot and the stick is what Fergal's always going on about at the moment. They're motivating people to upgrade their homes, but there could be a period of time when that becomes something else, where if your home isn't at a certain standard, they might start to penalise you for
the
that.
criteria. So maybe just get on touch, get on board, ring up on your local authorities, or ring up one of these one-stop shop guys, and they'll talk you through it. That's the thing. Any questions you have, they'll be answered. And even if you, I suppose, are just kind of like even thinking of the possibility or not knowing what way to turn or what way to go about it, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Get in touch and they'll take it from there.
Yeah, well, I think you were quite honest. You said that you're not someone who is savvy when it comes to construction. So, you were probably going into this a bit blind,
Yeah.
So it was good to have someone to guide you along the way. Yeah. Is there anything that's worth adding in there, Ferg?
Yeah, I just agree. It's actually never too early to ask the questions. You don't have to do anything. You're not stuck with going ahead with works just by finding out. And that home energy assessment is very important because it gives you a roadmap. It's something that you could be planning for the next 5 or 10 years. But that's old saying that you can't put a price on comfort. We can.
Very good. Very good.
So you're living in Drogheda. What's your social media? You're a Drogheda United fan.
I am a big Drogheda United fan. Yeah, big Drogheda United fan, and we're still in the running for maybe a place in Europe. One game left to go. We need a couple of other results to go our way, but we're playing Bows in the final game of the season now. Yeah. At this weekend, so looking forward to that now, and they're in the running as well for Europe, so it's going to be a big game. Yeah, and I just hope we can do it and get over the line.
Because I know your wife Laura worked for the FAI and is huge into soccer. My brother Stephen and Laura worked together for a period of time. Yeah, but so has she hooked you into the soccer world?
I know, like it's like I remember when I used to come up when we were living in Carlow at the time. Me and Laura, we used to go back up to Drogheda every now and then, and I think she showed me a picture come up on her phone the other day, a memory 6 years ago, as when I went to my first game, and I was hooked from that very first night. Yeah. And I think the League of Ireland it's something special in the sense of like for live entertainment, and you don't have VAR, you don't have something that's going to interrupt the game for so long. Some decisions go for you, some go against you, but in terms of live entertainment on a Friday evening all through the summer, it's absolutely great crack and it's brilliant. Yeah. And some good football as well. Like.
I was just about to say in terms of the quality of the football of the League of Ireland, well, it's obvious, it's actually a lot of stadiums are sold out these days, you know what I mean? And I do think it's beginning to slowly catch up with the GAA in terms of the support. Definitely. So boxing obviously was a huge part of your life. It's probably what you're most well known for. European champion. I was there that night. Yeah. Oh, that was sends a tingle down my spine. That was such a tough fight. And a real come from behind win that was. It was amazing. So how has life been since you've retired?
Yeah, it's been mad. Life has been mad. Like for a while though, it kind of went through a bit of a strange transition in where you're kind of again trying to figure out who you are, what's your purpose in the world.
Fergal's still going through that at the moment.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, 30 years in the game, and then to have my greatest night in the ring, my last fight. I think it was very poignant time and apt time to just kind of bow out on top, and not everybody gets the chance to do that. 100%. And my last fight will always be my greatest night, and it's great to be able to look back on that. Very fond memories and a lot of hard work and sacrifice to get to that point. But I'm kind of now just, I suppose probably over the last couple of months, maybe even this year, I've really kind of accepted where I am in life. You know what I mean? I kind of realised that I have a different purpose, different roles, but boxing is still something that will always be close to my heart. I took up the head coach role of Drogheda Boxing Club back in September, and I have a team of coaches around me. PK is one of them. I have Stephanie, Ellen, Gabby as well there, and we have about 45 or 50 kids 3 nights a week. The Loud Championships are on the end of November, so that's going to be our first real test as a club. First real outing anyway, but like, look, it's all new and it's great. And again, I'm just very lucky to be able to give back to boxing. Boxing gave me a great life, and the people involved in it, I had a great coach, and I just want to give back. I think that's a very important thing to be able to do.
Yeah, but also I think it's great that you're giving back to the community as well. Like, obviously you've taken one of Drogheda's greatest assets in your wife Laura.
Yeah.
All joking aside, though, you're living in the area, so to become a coach and be able to share some of your knowledge to local kids, I think is a brilliant thing. So well done for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good man. So you're also working now. You went back and studied, and you're working as a counsellor now. Is that correct?
Yeah, psychotherapist now. Yeah, so I work a couple of days a week in Force One's Therapy and Wellness in Duleek.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it's a good centre, and it's a great spot. There's a therapist there nearly for everything, and it's just a couple of ways of looking at it. Like, it's a sign of the times. Like, you've got gyms and coffee shops and health and wellness centres opening up and pubs closing down. But we have changed as a country. We are more health conscious, and I think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? But the stigma is still there slightly, but it is lifting. It's lifting more and more, and I think I genuinely do think like that. It should be the most normal, natural thing in the world to ask for help with your mental health, because you're able to ask for help with your physical health or for your eyesight or for your teeth, whether you're going to a dentist or an optician or a GP, and it's no problem. Yeah. So why, when the mind is and the brain is the most complex thing on the human body, that should be the most natural thing to use to go for a little bit of help and support with that. That's a good thing, and I think the more we can promote that and make that normalize that's okay. That's a very good thing. Then I think we'll be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I think definitely the world has changed a good bit like that. What would you say, Ferg? You're a man who's around building sites. Back in the day, you had to hide it inside, but it's probably changed now a bit.
Absolutely, but sure, isn't it? It's a contradiction in itself. In terms of it's looked at as a weakness, and it's probably a bigger strength to ask for help.
It is.
Yeah.
So it is. It really is.
Yeah, that's my tuppence worth on it now.
Yeah, and again, it sounds mad, but excuse me, doing this podcast, getting to meet experts in their field every week has been brilliant, because I, as a builder, I would have a very good knowledge of the whole picture, I suppose is the best way to put it. But to get the detailed information, and I've always been very good at that, actually, is reaching out. Like, people would say, oh, you're a brilliant craftsman because they see my work on television. But the reality of it is, I have absolutely no problem telling them that I'm not even the best carpenter in my company. You know what I mean? Like, I've got people who are excellent at doing what they do, and I will absolutely go to them for advice, and I'll make sure that they do the right jobs, you know. So, but what I feel I do well is I link the people together, and I think, again, a bit like in viral beat, I think that's a big thing. It is, though, having somebody who can look at the whole picture and knows the timing and knows the sequencing and knows how to link the right people together is actually hugely important, you know.
Very much so, yeah. Definitely.
It just reminded me of old jokes there every time you
said
it.
You smiled on his face there when I was saying that. I knew something was
coming. It's
when
you said you weren't the best carpenter in the company. There used to be an old argument about who was the best drummer in the world. And someone said Ringo Starr. They said he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Yeah.
So Ringo Finn here.
Well, we called many things, but never Ringo Finn. It's the new one that might stick. So just getting back to the house. So, as you were saying, Christmas is coming. The family are, I was saying to you there, in a month's time, I know you're in the final throes of the last week and there's bits and pieces to be done, and you probably say to yourself, oh God, will we ever get it done? But I was saying in a month's time, it'll all have settled. You'll have the kids around you, you'll have people coming over to the house, and you'll be able to relax and enjoy it. It must be nice to have that little moment to look forward to.
It is, and we're actually looking forward to the little trip that it's going to take to go from the living room to the actual kitchen to make a cup of tea, because at the moment we're living in a kitchen and sitting room all in one, and we've been there for the last 6 years. Again, I have to reiterate, we're so lucky and so blessed that we had that place, but again, it was just starting to become a little bit confined for us, and so we're actually looking forward, I think. We may even be offering the other a cup of tea 3 or 4 times a day, just to go for the walk in the house. Brilliant. Just to be able to walk down the hall, the big long hall. It's lovely, like, you know what I mean? But we're really looking forward, and even the girls, like, and the boys, they'll have their own rooms, and they're super excited about it as well. So it's all good.
Oh, that's class. That's class.
If you want to be in for Christmas, move in November. I think that's the
truth of it, yeah. Get in as quick as you can.
Yeah, because some people are saying like, you know, Friday is the day to move in, and like, you know, there's I don't know if it's superstition or whatever, but like a lot of people are so adamant that you have to move in on a Friday. So we're kind of like, okay, well, it's got to be Friday. So we're hoping this Friday. This Friday, which will be Halloween day, and funny enough, it'll be 11 years to the day we met.
No way.
Yeah. She still hasn't taken off the mask. She'll kill me for that. But
she definitely will. So again, like, I suppose you're not there yet, but you're very close to the very end of the journey. Like, again, can you just give anyone advice on it? Like, I know you said, you know, probably the best advice is to commit to it and go for it. But like, what would you say to someone who's considering it? Because obviously that's who we're talking to here, is people who are considering retrofit and they're tuning in to try and get some advice off us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say go right ahead. It's not going to cost you to even ask the question. It's definitely not going to cost you to ask the question, but at least if you ask the questions, you get the answers, and then you'll know where you stand. And then, of course, there is going to be an element of just going for it as well. Like, because no matter what you do in anything, you kind of have to say, right, let's go for this. You have to commit to something, like, you know what I mean? And there will be, again, there's going to be a cost. Of course there is. But like anything, there has to be a cost. But in the long run, this is going to pay you back tenfold. And so I actually would encourage people to go and do it. Like, you know, we rang up Envirobeat, and we had a BER rating E house, you know what I mean? So we're going to walk into our house at the end of this week, and just the final touches are being done on the house, and we're going to be like handed the keys back, and the house is going to be a minimum B plus. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
An A to a B plus. Or like, that's incredible. Like,
we're organising that at the minute, but it's going to be a strong A.
It's going to be a strong A. No, I know, but that's kind of what it says on your because that's the criteria. But I'm in no doubt that it's going to be an A. Absolutely no doubt.
I think, and that's another thing that, I mean, what's written on a BER certificate is a piece of paper. Living in the house, Eric, is what's the important part.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's right.
You know, and you're not fully living in the house, and you're talking about the air to water system already, in that you're walking into a constant temperature all the time.
With doors and windows open,
so
and it's still so cozy. It's unbelievable,
It'll be great to live in it then.
Really, no, it's a game changer for us. It really is. And I think it's a game changer for the energy system in as a whole. You know what I mean? I think everybody will be. And I know everybody will be eventually going down this way, but as you were saying, Pete, there maybe criteria might change, and qualifying criteria that change. So, you know, my advice would be to get it, you know, ASAP if you can.
Yeah, and again, I always get asked this question about when is the right time to build. And to be honest with you, there's never a right time to wait to build. Do you know what I mean? Like, our price is going to come down. I genuinely don't know. They have settled, but will they ever reduce again? I couldn't put my hat on it and say yes they will or no they won't. Again, are grants going to go up, or are they going to stay the same? Again, it's very hard to tell, because there's so many, you know, wheels in motion on that type of stuff. So I would always say to someone, if your lifestyle is if your life is at that moment when it's the right time to buy or to build or to retrofit, that's the right time to do it, because you can't spend your life waiting for the right moment to come along. You have to be proactive, and like you've been proactive at this for 3 years now. Do you know what I mean? And now you're, you know, it's come and go for you now. So, you know, I do think that, you know, your advice is dead right. Go for it. Like, I know there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of unknown, but there's a huge amount of information out there now. There's a huge amount of guidance, there's a huge amount of help, and it's quite transparent. So I do think that now is the right time for people to go for something if their life is in that moment.
Yeah, because no matter how stressful or how difficult or how time constraining or, you know, even confusing it actually is, you are going, no matter what, when you get through this little bit of you know, work stress or whatever it may be, or the project stress, you are going to end up in a better place. So, you know, like anything, if you want something that's really worthwhile, you kind of have to go through. It's not, you know, it's never a straight line to get there. You kind of have to go for it. So, like, you know, invest, go for it, leap of faith, and you know that no matter what, you're going to end up in a far better place. And then at that point there, it's going to keep rewarding you.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So we're coming to the end of the interview. Thanks a million, Eric, for coming
Pleasure,
to us.
yeah.
So what's happening with Eric Donovan at the moment? Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to there, or anything that you want to
Oh gosh,
mention while you're here?
no, just again, I just want to thank Envirobeat for all of the work, and thanks to Boyne Builders as well, Boyneside Builders as well, for all of their work, and my friend PK and all the painters, Vince and Matthew, and all the guys that contributed on the house, Alan as well, your guy, you know, because I know everybody had to contribute and everybody played a part, and we're just very grateful. And even though there was times when you can be, you know, not happy with time or when things are going to be done, that's natural. That's part of the course for anybody, yeah. But you know that when it's all done and dusted, it's going to be a lovely finish, and we can already see it, and it's going to be happy ever after.
I love it. And you yourself personally, I know you're on Instagram, and do you want to mention as well where you're working as well, doing the counselling?
Yeah, Four Swans Therapy and Wellness in Leak. Yeah, you can get in touch with them if you want to book an appointment. I'm working with mental health, addiction, and recovery, and I suppose many different areas in and around the area of mental health. Happy to have a chat with you and work with you if you're interested. And other than that, wish you all well, and reach out and get your house retrofit. You won't be disappointed, I tell you that.
Good man. Anything you want to add there, Ferg?
Just to thank Eric very much for coming in. Great to see you, and best of luck in your new cosy home.
Thanks. You'll have to come up for a cup of tea.
Absolutely, definitely.
Great stuff. I'm going to give one story about Eric as well. We were all after meeting up for Hell Week. Do you remember this? And they'd all given us the gear, and we done like a photo shoot kind of thing before literally we were about to be kidnapped by the DSs, and we were all buzzing and having the crack. You know, we were in this quarry. It was really cool. They brought us to this quarry to get these photographs taken, and I don't know why, but the song, you know, what's this coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Eric just started singing this, right? And he was singing away, and everyone was going, jeez, he's a bit mad, isn't he? So he did it, and he was walking up the hill like this, going, what's this coming over the hill? And next minute, he tripped and he stumbled and he went flying down the hill. Do you remember that? So every time I hear that song, all I can do is
I fell into Hell Week and I fell over.
Brilliant. Well, listen, as always, a gentleman, Eric, it's a pleasure to see you, and thanks very much for coming on board and being so honest and giving all our listeners and viewers your story of the retrofit.
Pleasure.
And as always, folks, if you have any questions that you would like us to ask Eric, reach out to us, and tune in to the next episode coming soon of Behind the Walls podcast with Pete and
Ferg.
cheers, folks. Thanks a million, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.